On this week's episode, Ziggy chases the drone and I stir paint. Okay, what's up guys? So on the last episode, you'd seen me attach this hair onto his hat, and now he is fully attached. So what we've done was we put some threads inside of his heels, and then the threads went on inside the hat. I've fiberglassed and then put a load of resin over the top, so that's nice and smooth. Once this is installed, this is actually going to be filled with flowers and planters, so you're not actually going to see the lumps and bumps inside, but we're going to paint and patinate in there anyway. I've also put some Auto Sol, which is this lovely metal polish here. I went back with a little abrasive sort of Scotch-Brite Dremel end. I brought up the bronze powder, because what you need to do is you need to bring the bronze powder through before you add your bronze polish or your metal polish, because otherwise you're just essentially trying to polish plastic. So you need something slightly abrasive to bring the bronze through, get that slight shine, then you need to go over with a bit of Auto Sol, rub it in, leave it for a few seconds, and then go over with it with the stitched mop. And that just really brings this lovely shine through, which if you do it enough, you can see your own reflection in it. I mean, I don't like looking at my own face, but you can almost see your reflection in it. This here, this teacup and this saucer is just getting super shiny from just adding a bit of Auto Sol, leaving it for a minute. Ideally, this has been used quite a lot, so it's gone quite dark over time, but ideally you would use a fresh one, and it would just get shinier and shinier and shinier until your heart's content. So now this is all put together and the pieces and different components are polished, so we've polished everything that we needed to. Now the next task is to make it as good looking as the Mad Hatter, so when they're both together, they just look so compatible. So now, let's get cracking into the painting. So gang, what we've got here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to completely dark wash it. I'm going to dark wash the whole piece. Like I said, I've polished up all the areas that need polishing. So I've got this burnt umber acrylic. You can use chemicals on resins, but to be honest with you, it's a complete waste of fucking time. You'll be there for a year and a day waiting for the chemical reaction to turn. It's not that controllable. And it's just not as vibrant. If you want blues and reds and yellows and all those lovely colours of the rainbow, then you're going to want to use acrylic paint. So water the acrylic down. I mean, it's like when you're painting on a canvas and you want to create layers. You want to create a sense of depth, and the depth comes from layers. Watering down acrylic, heating it up between layers, applying more, lacquering the piece to then separate different colours so that when you add another colour, those colours don't merge and turn into brown, because at the end of the day you want to try and create a lovely vibrant piece. Or if you want to do the mottled effect, you just stipple it on and then heat it as you go. You could do it with a resin. It's like, I'm going to debunk the myth of applying heat to resin. You can do that, just don't hold it in one place, because at the end of the day it's plastic, so if you hold it in one place you're going to melt it. So I use a blowtorch and I just, I waft fire at it, and so it's just heat. I mean, paint watered down, it dries out really quickly. So you just got to slap it on, rub it back. This technique does come over time by failing and doing it again and failing and doing it again, but 10 years later, we're there. So I'm going to crack on, completely dark wash it, and then we're going to add our layers as we go and try and make it look really sexy. So let's go. Now we're ready. So now I'm just going to go over the whole piece like this, okay? And it's just so that the reason why we do this is that we get it into all the nooks and crannies, because the last thing you want is for it to look like a resin when it's meant to look like a bronze. So we want to cover all the sort of white patches, all the scratches from the sandpaper, if there are any, you want to just create a whole uniform color to start with, because then that gives you a great foundation to build up your other colors and just make it look absolutely stunning. So we're just going to flood the whole piece and make it look brown, but then I use this trusty cloth where you just rub it back, rub the tops back, leaving the darks in the recesses. That's giving you your contrast. So you're just rubbing it back slightly, just making sure all the nooks and crannies are covered. It's not, I wouldn't worry about being neat and tidy at this point, just get it on. Just get it on. So we're just getting all the darks in the recesses, flooding the whole piece. And once the whole piece is covered, all you're gonna do is you're just gonna rub back the brown, the burnt umber, just giving that lovely warmth coloration in the bronze resin. And then once you've got that layer, you can then start building up other layers to then give you your depth. So we're just gonna get this nice and covered, and then we're gonna move on to the next step. So the reason why we add patinas to sculpture is purely because at the end of the day, you want your piece to look as good as humanly possible. You can have 3 different pieces or 3 of the same piece with 3 different patinas, and I guarantee it, you'll like one of them more than the other 2. So we try and actually give a really nice patina to suit this piece, or a piece in particular, and just really bring out its colors and all of its characteristics. Because these pieces have to ring true to the original illustrations which they come from, we're going to go for the verdigris jacket, and we're going to go for the traditional bronze trousers. Plus we're going to have all those extra high points of all of the polished bronze, and it's going to look absolutely cracking. So this image here is like the reference that we need to work by. As you can see, he's got the lovely verdigris jacket, the polished saucer, the polished teacup. He's got polished corn in his hair. And then obviously you've got this sort of style, in the style Mad Hatter ticket. That's going to be polished bronze, but the rest is going to be sort of like a leathery brown. And as you can see, in this sort of patina, it's just really worn. Even though this would have been freshly done, these pieces lend themselves to be really worn, look authentic. They've got a characteristic about them that just looks like they've been left in the shed for God knows how many years, and they've just been found. That's the sort of style of patina that we are trying to achieve, and not to let it look too plasticky, because no one likes that. So now we're going to crack on, start the fire. Now cue the music. So if you're ever curious about how your patina is going to look before you've waxed it, just so you get an idea and you're not committed to the wax, because as soon as you've waxed it or matte lacquered it, it's pretty hard to come back from that unless you've got a sandblaster. So the thing to do is you can cover it in water quite lightly, and actually it's just got this lovely glossy look to it, this lovely depth. It goes from this matte colour through to this sort of iridescent depth, which actually is what you're looking for. So what I've done there prior to waxing is actually correct, thankfully. Whew. So gang, now I've actually given it an overall color, I'm wanting to actually put some auto sole on those high points. So I'm just going over it with a used sort of Brillo wheel. I'm just bringing up the high points so that when I do apply some auto sole, it really does shine. Because the last thing you want is to try and eat away through the patina and it ends up giving that horrible murky smudge look, which is what we've got going on here. So we need to just work away at it to get rid of that and then give ourselves a really nice shine. Hello Zig. Woohoo! See that now, it's all coming back, all coming through, looking nice and warm. That lovely authentic feel about it. Now we've rubbed it all back with the actual pad on the old Dremel. I'm just going to go over it now with a little bit of auto sole, just on those high points, all right? Just going to rub it in, like so. And watch this, ladies and gents. Watch the magic unfold before your eyes. Look at that shine. It just comes out like it's actual metal. And this is the pièce de résistance. It's literally what makes the piece come alive. You can just see that shine ring true. If I just shine this up a bit more and get the light in it, you can literally see that glisten now. It's so shiny, so vibrant, and the contrast between the old look and the new bling really makes a piece come to life. And when this is next to the Mad Hatter in its urn, it's just going to look absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait to see it in situ. Unfortunately, the urn's being fitted with the stainless steel frame which they're sitting on, so we are going to get some decent shots of this looking absolutely incredible side by side. So I'm just going to go through, polish it all up now, and get it finished. What's up gang, thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we've liked making them. Make sure to tune in next week for more tricks, tips and how-tos. Until that episode, we'll see you there.